Is that not madness? In reality, the people are not supposed to be servants of government. It's the other way.
But they are supposed to complement their effort and support them in
this is what I mean. I'm saying that even from the concept of civil servants, what we need is a servant leader. All of them that were voted in the office didn't get there behind our back. It is our thumbing, and our voting that brought them there. So we are not supposed to give them any they said they would do XYZ.
Yes.
Let them go ahead, let them do it. If they do, fine. That does not mean that we cannot say, okay, this government, he did well in this area. That's analysis. But to see somebody talking flamboyantly and say, hey,
our Messiah.
God, it's something is wrong with us if we begin to do that. Unfortunately, our society, that is what it has become. They versus us. Almost everybody now has taken a position.
Yes.
Even the media has not been helpful. But you will not be surprised. People have hijacked the media profession. You see all these same people who got themselves into office are now media bearers. You see some of them own newspapers, they own radio stations, they own television stations. So because of the concept of the piper dictates the tune, then we are all involved. But minus me. Having said that, it was Dr. Enenche, a popular pastor in Abuja. He said what is happening in Nigeria shows clearly that there is a spell cast on the eyes of the populace. The populace no longer have normal parameters to judge. I read somewhere when I was coming here to say, he said opposition, he said what is happening in Nigeria, people don't care about, it's not about parties, it's about performance. I said, no, you are wrong. You are wrong. In Nigeria, the absurd is what is happening. Just belong to a particular one party and you are guaranteed. In fact, you won't spend too much money. Once you are able to come under that umbrella, I'm speaking figuratively, under that a canopy.
Yeah.
And that canopy is the one. So, but there is a better way for the people to respond, except that I'm still talking about this same kind of spare. We know that things are not right. We cannot deceive ourselves. Where Nigeria is presently, I don't even know whether we are moving forward or we are moving backward like that musician. Is this Sonny Ade who sang that song? The reason I said that is because when Buhari was there, Buhari did a lot of damage to governance. May God rest his soul. We cannot really be speaking about him now. But recently, President Tinubu did the unthinkable last week when he said Buhari government was my government. And that, it's the same.
Took over from himself.
I don't know. I'm a communicator. I process words. Are Nigerians thinking very well? Because in the prelude to the election, the first move of President Tinubu, as he then was campaigning, he said, I will continue where Buhari stops. People felt he was just making a statement to massage the ego of Buhari, and they said, no, he will not do. Nobody will want to continue what Buhari has done. Buhari placed Nigeria on the reverse gear, moving ferociously. If you are doing reverse, you have to have an automatic car, and you are just going a little bit. But you are driving dangerously in the reverse. One of it is their excuse for non-performance now. They are saying, ways and means. Is Tinubu owing up to ways and means? Another thing
remember,
also.
we are looking at opposition political
I'm
parties.
building it up. I'm a communicator. I will round up in a minute now. Now, the ways and means is there. The issue of crude oil forward selling. Now, Keyamo now also told us then, as a presidential campaign spokesman, he said Tinubu will run Nigeria the same way Buhari ran Nigeria. Now, the script is clear. Between Buhari and Tinubu, I do not see a difference. Okay. Now we are talking about the opposition.
Political parties.
It is in the circumstance that we have found ourselves in Nigeria that, look, we have been captured, we are held up. We cannot go anywhere. Where are you talking of opposition when we have what is looking clearly like a one-party state? What is looking like dominance and no longer the issue of minority and majority. That's what is happening. So why are we talking about opposition? Where are you going to get the opposition? There's voter apathy. And any time in my own little way, I try to say, everybody's lamenting. And I will say, Shebi, you oteka. Now, what the generality of them will tell you is this. We don't have a choice. 2, our votes don't count. 3, they already decided what has happened to us in Nigeria that we found ourselves even, to the extent that the new electoral amendment captured it like that. It's an absurdity. Let me just stop there.
Okay. We are looking at the state of opposition ahead of the 2027 election. Now, let's come to Ogun State. We are still going nationally. Remember that when we talk about the political structure in Ogun State, looking back in the 2023, we had a strong opposition then, where the People's Democratic Party
almost neck to neck,
almost dislodged the ruling party. And the build-up to that election was clear that the opposition was strong then and was ready to fight to the finish. But compare that to what we are having to the twilight of the 2027 election and the wrapping up of the present administration in Ogun State. Do we have a similarity of what we had close to 2023 election in Ogun State compared to the state of opposition now?
You cannot have it anywhere. It's not here in Ogun State, and it's not here in Lagos. It's not there in Lagos. It's not there in all the Igbo states. It's not there in in many states. And it is because I wish I can make an analogy.
Okay.
Something happened in the Bible, and a farmer planted something. It was a good thing he planted, and he walked away. The Bible says when men slept, the enemy came and planted something. And later they found out this was not what we planted now. You see, what has happened to Nigeria between 2023 and now is ungodly, it's a disorder, it's a misnomer. And I'm sure even the politicians seem to have just woken up from their own spare. To the extent that, from even the question you asked me, Lado, who represented PDP, was almost going bumper to bumper to Abiodun, who was seeking a second term. And beside those two parties, there were other parties who also had good measurement. Where are you finding that now? You see, whatever has happened that have dismantled the way things used to be, that thing is ungodly, it's a disorder, it will not produce results.
Okay, thank you so much. We have with us in the studio correspondent leadership in the person of Mr. Femi Oyeweso. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much. Viewers at home, good morning.
All right, so let me.
Listeners at home, sorry.
Okay, yeah, let me
And they are
throw.
also viewing.
Yeah,
Say convergence.
Okay, so let me throw this to you quickly. Based on your coverage, how would you describe the current state of opposition politics in Ogun State?
Thank you so much. I think I have to start by acknowledging the support of our people at home, the listeners at home, and the management of this particular station. May God continue to bless you. Now, talking about the state of opposition in Ogun politics. First of all, I want to disagree with my brother here, Arojolu, who said what we have presently is ungodly, is a misnomer, and I've forgotten the third.
I can borrow you.
Yes.
A disorder.
A disorder.
Good.
I think it is not.
Okay.
This is because we have to first of all look at the caliber of the politicians we have in Nigeria generally, before we now come down home. You discover that the crop of politicians we have these days are the ones that have been playing politics without ideology. And some people are of the stronger opinion that this the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is the first of a kind of a politician being at the helms of affairs of the country. I want to agree with that. And in as much as that is, you discover that politicians will do everything possible to skim the opposition and, to displace them out of their feet. I think that is one of the things we are witnessing today. Again, because the judicial system in Nigeria is not strong enough. We have the laws, but implementations are poor. And that is why we are able to find ourselves in the position we are currently. There's no way in the world where you run democracy without opposition. That is a different thing. That will amount to dictatorial. But where are the oppositions? Where are those politicians with ideology? Why are they not staying in their political parties? Remember what former Governor Adam Oshiomhole, now distinguished senator, what he said. He said, if your sins are as many as the sand of the, that join our party and all your sins are forgiven. Definitely, most of these people that have been running away from their political party, the original political party they belong to, where they believe it has ideology and all these things, majority of them are corrupt. And so, because they are afraid of prosecution, that was why they are now joining the ruling political party, the All Progressive Party Congress of Nigeria, APC. Now, let us now come down home. At home here.
Is that not a justification of his assertion?
That was what you said they are joining. Are they joining or somebody is pulling them?
I thought you said you want to counter, but it's as if what you mentioned now is the justification of
it is not.
the sorry nature
it is
of
not.
our opposition political party.
It is not. It's quite different. What I'm saying now is that the crop of politicians we have these days, they are, somebody will say they are bereft of ideas. Well, they might not be bereft of ideas, but they have chosen to abandon the political ideology with which they were identified before. Now, the dexterity that we have been able to identify there is that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Once you
that
are,
he's playing politics.
He's playing
and
politics,
it's acceptable.
and they are accepting it because majority of them have their hands sword. I hope you understand. That is why they are now looking for where to. An ideal politician will stand by his words. Don't forget what former President Olusegun Obasanjo just said. That when you are a leader and you want to take a decision, take that decision and stand by it. Forget about who succeeds God or what will happen. Take decision, stand by it. But majority of our people will take decision while they are in power, forgetting that one day they will step down. Just like the Gary boy will say, they are forgetting that they will leave the power one day, and most of the terrible things they have done, which are not part of the norms, will now start, going after them. Now, where are the opposition in Ogun State? Of course, today, there is no opposition in Ogun State. And I think on this program, sometimes we were able to stamp it that once any politician is able to get the ticket, the governorship ticket of the state, is as good as
of the ruling party.
Of the rule of an APC, the ruling party. The moment such a person emerges, the moment when the candidate emerges, then it's as good as he has won election, which of course is what is going on. Remember that part of the functions of the media is to, ginger the society. Now, where are those positions? Are they following us? Are they listening? Have they learned at all? So that means they have been sleeping and looking for, except for somebody like a Honorable Ladi Adebutu, who have been so consistent. All other positions have been junketing and moving from one political party to another one. This is the same state where we had a former governor, Ibikunle Amosun, of an APC, but at the point of, handing over, he started flying the kite of another candidate, APM. I hope you understand. Then we have the likes of GNI, Honorable
Former Governor Benga Daniel too.
all of them are now in APC.
He was in PDP
from
before.
PDP. What is now happening? Does that mean that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has brought in a kind of a joker that is so sweet that they cannot defer except they romance him? I hope you understand. Okay. So, but in as much as we are concerned in Ogun State today, I think there is the opposition is just, they have slept.
They say all is fair in war, and you are blaming someone for playing the chess game, outweighing and winning his opponents. With the approach adopted by the present administration, will you, if as an advisory, allow your friend or your enemy to play and win over the battle if you are involved? That analogy, can you bring it back to politics?
This is the way I look at things. It's unfortunate. I told you from the word go, I said I'm a critic. Only somebody who is a politician or who is so inclined will be entertained by what is happening presently. Honestly, I'm disgusted. There may be a semblance of truth in what they are saying, but we, in the media, we're opinion molders. We know what is right. We did not vote for President Tinubu or Governor Abiodun and all of them to come and be playing politics. We voted for them, for governance. For God's sake, people should know the difference. If the president had been doing governance since May 29, 2023, this country would not have been like this. If all these governors have been doing real governance and then reserve the last 1 year to politics.
What of if we have had the viral opposition? They will have been on their toes.
The opposition is viral. Let's say the truth. The truth is this. It's the same crop of politicians that we have. They didn't import any docility there. What has happened is the environment. The pervasive poverty in the land, which the administrations that are on now, whether at whatever level, sometimes the president will say, go and hold your governor. Go and hold your governor. Me, I don't like that. The governors did not say subsidy is gone. The governors did not announce flotation of naira. There are some things that, you see, a fish gets rotten from the head. Now, I'm not excusing the governors. But what I'm saying, and then occasionally it tells the governor, wet the ground.
Are you putting the blame of the abysmal level of the opposition in Ogun State, for example, on the ruling party? Because the analysis we are looking at is all the state of the opposition. But we are not, we are tilting towards looking at the government and governance. We are looking at the role of opposition in Ogun State in ensuring, even when we are talking about governance, how do we have good governance? So what's the role of that opposition?
I understand you very seriously. There is a connect between the polity and the environment, the economic environment. You asked a serious question. The same Lado is still there and is going to contest the election. The same political people in PDP in Labour Party, in all of those other parties, the one Attorney Ojesina, and many of them, they are still there. So what has happened is that somebody is beating gong from somewhere, and it is what it is, and we can see it's the same players. Nothing has changed. What has changed is, and you cannot isolate Ogun. What is happening here in Ogun is what is happening in Lagos. Where is the opposition in Lagos? Let me ask you. Where is the opposition in
the Labour Party stronghold? Then in Lagos.
Okay, where are they? You see, so look, and there's a connect between governance and the polity. The reason why Nigeria is not moving forward is because, one, you have now adopted what is called dominance. Democracy is no longer of minority and majority. What is now happening about this thing is called coronation and enthronement. We no longer have, competition. These are the ingredients that make democracy thrive. When you remove all of that, and now, the politicians are trapped. They are trapped. They can't go nowhere. So, what I am, I am not entertained. And if anybody thinks they like it, let me tell you, the politicians have not learned any lesson. You said a lot of them are fraudulent. I agree with you in total on that. So that's why they are looking for, where EFCC will not disturb them. And, EFCC, there is a button controlling EFCC. EFCC can look the other way. When you see the EFCC telling stories about, they told a recent story, 6 out of
every 10.
Every 10. I mean, where did they get that? You are a researcher, my brother. Okay. So when they are telling stories like that, it is because they are looking away from the main thing. So what we are saying, we have had this type of thing before. We had it during Abacha. The whole political class resident in that leprous 5 fingers, they came and said, we have submitted to you. That's a misnomer. There will be some people who felt this is ridiculous. But all these politicians playing here, now, they joined them. They were in UNCP, they were in, I forgot all the other parties. But they don't learn lesson. Number 1, tomorrow belongs to God. Number 2 is that there is a place in history. When anybody emerges president or governors, my brother, it is God who put them there. But God will not work with you. He will expect you to fear him. Say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. He will expect you to love the people, to be sacrificial, and do what, but nobody wants to help the people. Yesterday, about 10 people, Daddy Joe, grown-up people, wives at home, mothers with their children. But it looks like anytime elites are discussing, say, our elites have become callous, they have become cruel, they have become mean, and the people are suffering. Okay. So I'm not bothered about what is happening everywhere. Thank you.
Okay, so let me quickly turn over to our correspondent that is right here with us in the studio. Do you think there is maybe any emerging figure that could change the dynamics of the race for Ogun State opposition?
Of course, there could be 1,001 of them, of which one will be conspicuously known. But the problem we have to identify is on which platform, which political party. So it's as good as all political parties, all oppositions in the country presently, before it cascades down to Ogun, do not have a viable platform. Don't forget the position of ADC, which would have been a better opposition. PDP is almost dying, courtesy of the Lord Wike. So we don't know where the Supreme Court's judgment will land, and I think so. Maybe it's in the paper today.
Yes,
it's a matter of hours.
Ought it be equal? You should start delivering judgments.
Now, I read somewhere in my paper today that the judgment is not going to favor ADC. Now, if the judgment will not favor, might not. Sorry,
did they see
might
the
not.
judgment?
Now, if the judgment refuses to favor them, which platform now are the opposition going to?
But what of if it favors them?
If it favors, fine. Then that was why I said there will be 1,001 of them. But if at the end of the day it favors, then definitely collectively they will be able to achieve their aim, because they say all of them will team up and present one common candidate. So the moment it happens at the federal level, it comes down to the state and then the local government. So, but I will not deceive you, the master of the game is still there. And that is, just like I said the other time, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You know, there's a saying in Yoruba language that says, Omote Yoruba Luti O Dejo, Eja Kulumo Yepa, Kalo Rojo Eleka, you know. Meaning that once you know that your opposition will give you problem and you have an edge over him, why not cross him till eternity and then you...
That's Machiavellian principle.
God bless you. So after the whole election, then you start taking each other to court. So that kind of a scenario might come to play, and it may not. It depends. You understand? But I want to be emphatic here that the crop of people that will form opposition is the media, as well as the human rights society in the public, because
will you form the opposition?
Yes, because when you after the election and you discover that these people are not performing, no political party will be available.
Which election? You are talking about the
2027.
We are going to wait till then.
Yeah, of course, now. Have we not been waiting? So it is only the media that will be scrutinizing the policies, whether it favors the members of the public. And at the same time, the civil society organizations too will be out there, probably on the street or at the negotiating table. Where is Labour today?
They killed the Labour.
So the master of the game has conveniently disorganized the Labour. Then remember the language that that was allegedly pronounced by the chief of staff to Mr. President, that where it was quoted to have said that the APC will start poaching them by planting their whatever in all the political parties so as to disorganize them and ensure that they do not stand. Of course, now if that one is at play, then definitely there's no opposition. We should forget about opposition, but the media will have to be alive to its responsibility, and at the same time, the civil society organizations. So I think
I must say I am happy that my friend has come back to my side, because what I say is ungodly, something that has never been seen before. It's shocking.
No, when I said
we are on the same page.
Of opposition has always been in our politics.
No, not in this way. I mean, what a statement. I mean, from Bajabi Amila. You stay there and be. Are we in a battle?
I think to him, all is fair in war.
Let them walk and let us see the result. Forget about this politics.
Okay.
Since the blame is more on the ruling party, do you see any fault line among the players in the opposition political parties?
Of course, I made allusion to that. You see, they are the same, all of them, except that, like he said, I want to quote him, the master of the game. He seems to have the jokers that they don't have. Many times, all these politicians are not so foresighted. They just want to do the same thing the same way. And then they don't care. It is called in spirituality, it is called Esau mentality. Esau is a hunter. All he needs is go to the bush and waste all the animals. It's better to be a shepherd. I want our leaders in Nigeria to be shepherd-like. You see, they are not ruling over themselves. They are ruling over people. And nobody is considering the people. Unfortunately, even the same people that are suffering, you see some of them hailing them and say, hey, that's not what we need. We need development. we need to stay out of the poverty line. And the poverty line now is so deep and has captured almost everybody. If you are taking home 500,000 naira in a month, you are a poor man. No? Because when they give you that money, just go to Adaton, don't even go to Kuto. Buy your bag of rice. They say it has come down. Okay, 52. How many bags of rice can you buy out of your salary?
In a month.
You buy, let's say you buy one. You buy fuel. Between yesterday and today, they have increased fuel again.
Yeah.
I say, oh my God. I'm thinking about myself, and I'm also thinking about people who don't have opportunities. I take my salary, fine. But when you look at it, my car chops more money than even myself.
Stomach.
You know? So, and at the end of the day, and I used to say, no, I finished NYC since close to 40 years. One car is not too much. In the last 2 weeks, I've been going on Okada. I'm telling you. And if it is happening to me, what is happening to somebody who doesn't take beyond 60,000 naira? What is happening to somebody who doesn't take... But people on top, they are closing their eyes as if there's now more money in the pocket of government. That's not money in the hand of government for them to spend, does not translate into anything good for the common man.
Okay, so yes, let me quickly turn over to Mr. Oyuwe. So from where you stopped, you talked about the role of the media. You know, we should wait till 2027, and then once these different politicians get into power, we should scrutinize them. How about the voters? We still have some persons that believe the fact that, okay, who will win would win. I don't think my vote will count. How can we dissuade these people from at least, you know, doing the thing that is right by going to cast?
I understood you, my sister. You see, that was why I still said the media. Don't forget that part of the media functions also include voter education.
Yes.
Forget about INEC, forget about National Orientation Agency, and who again? Forget about those federal agencies. Because the more they kept these people, the electorate, unaware of their responsibilities, their functions, the better for whomever that is at the helm of affairs. But it is not left for the media to be at the vanguard of educating the electorate. It's unfortunate that the level of literacy in this country is still taking toll on the rate at which our people vote. All these market women, what I know, what you know, are not part of what those market women and men knew. Their orientation is quite different. Small time now, when you, if a politician comes out now and starts sharing Gary and beans and all these things, they will rush down there to go and pick. That was why I said it is the media and the civil society organizations that will come out and form the opposition that we need for whomever that are ruling us in this country. So we have to step up, the media has to step up the enlightenment level that you these people, artisans and all of you, don't mortgage your future with just a cup of gari or a cup of rice. So we have to make sure that we improve on that level, and at the same time at our own individual levels, when you get home, all those people that will come and say my phone will not see in my area there in Olomore, here in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital. I've always told most of these people that responded to that kind of thing that, look, you are the reason why we are having problems. You go there, go out there, go and cast your own vote, and then hand them over to God to punish them if they have refused. You will know that, number one, you have fulfilled your civil responsibility, and at the same time, your conscience is clear. But if you refuse to go and do what you're supposed to do, then don't blame anybody. Don't blame anybody.
Okay, the question now is, what's the alternative available to the opposition political parties in Ogun State? Are they going to form a new political party? Are they going to join maybe one unproblematic political party? Or they wait for the supposed implosion in the ruling APC? For example, we had this protest from Ogun East, from now Ogun Central. We are having some level of dissension or
Mr. Fulani, I think you are entering into another level of discussion.
We are talking about opposition.
Opposition. That is a kind of an internal crisis. If I
the
thought,
opposition is banking on that.
if I thought we are going to have opposition, the problem will now start within APC against APC.
So that the opposition will benefit from it.
Then probably an
alternative.
obscure political party will just take advantage of that and then cash in.
Are
Of
you
course,
seeing that in Ogun
I am
State?
seeing that, and this may be a kind of a clarion call, a wake-up call on the politicians. If indeed the ruling political party knows that it has more in stock for the people of the town, then they should be able to conveniently harmonize how they share positions. Otherwise, don't forget, we had the same experience in 2023 when former Governor Bikunle Amosun pick up APM and its candidate. APM also has substantial number of photos. There could be a repeat of that.
But the ruling party won.
The ruling party won, fine, because they were able to manage the internal crisis then to a certain level. If they refuse to manage the crisis this time around, it might explode beyond what they are thinking of about, except if somebody believes it's going to rig. If they will not be rigging, if they will be free and fair, then they have to take care of how they share positions. Who, for instance, here in the Paramount, Roxy TFM, I am contesting to be the chairman. Jami Folan is contesting to be the chairman. Whom do you think your people here will vote for? It is you. So if you have the capacity to deliver, to mobilize voters, but probably the electoral body now chooses to give the ticket to me, you could just believe that it might be a kind of a dead on arrival. So that was why I said APC versus APC has to ensure that they manage their house very well. Failure of which some oppositions that are already waiting for where to pray or where to cash in, take advantage, they will just poach them. After all, some of them are already new. Again, secondly, people like Honorable Ladi Adebutu may want to take advantage of wherever the judgment falls in for PDP. See, in Yoruba land, there is another that says, Kado Bale Farara, Konika Dide, Kama Gadebita Gademo. She understand? Now, if you know that it is the wicked controlled PDP, why not go and mend fence? The moment he's able to mend fence with it, and they say, okay, who are the PDP? Well, of course, who is the PDP going to use in Ogun State, if not him? I hope you understand. So, yes. If the PDP now chooses to use him against the incumbent ruling party, then there might be problem.
You want power to go back to the Oguis after 8 years of...
Forget about zoning. This is...
Go back to Iperu.
Zoning, Iperu, East or whatever. Those are parts of the internal arrangement that they have to take care of. But in democracy, anything could happen. You could be, myself and you could be of the same father. And after I have ruled, then you come on board if the opportunity provide for such. But it is a kind of a wake-up call on the ruling APC to ensure that the main fence.
Okay. What alternative is available to the
opposition? To the contrary, and this is where I'm different. I believe in the process, not necessarily the outcome. Except we do things by godly means. For example, if what you have said is what it should be, then you are saying that politics is purely a game of self-interest.
No.
Because you are talking about position sharing. This, of course, which is the mood which they are now. For example, in APC in Ogun State. But let me mention the fact that I am elated by Yayi. The maturity is displaying and his sagacity. The way he is stooping to conquer. I didn't expect that from him. You know, and you see the politicians who sat and had that directive conveyed to them to go the way of Yayi is like you are beating a child. So, yeah, this is where you go, bam. I don't expect, you know, those politicians that we cannot see one person who will raise up his hand. Is You can't raise up your hand. There is the governor talking. This is what I'm saying. Even those who talked before, they have found a way. So this selfish, self-centered thing is evident in some of these people. A lot of them are just looking at the quickest route to power. So if they are sharing position, but I'm grown enough. I knew something that happened in Lagos years ago, $10. $10 may happen again. Elsewhere, where they don't manage it very
That
well.
was the position.
That was what I said.
Because, but the way Yayi is doing, I don't know who taught him. Going everywhere, don't worry, I will adopt your agenda, I will do this, I will do that. In fact, it beats me, and I applaud him for that. But if you are banking on the fact that President Tinubu already chose you, like in Lagos now, they say the thing is like a ding-dong. Today they will say somebody, tomorrow they say it's Hamzat. But it looks like the street choice, the choice at the street is somebody coming back to power. You know, if it's not for the tight corner that has been brought about by the new electoral amendment, which I am not quite really very adept with, there is going to be likelihood of $10. That means people, you ask it and say people can, in fact, when you look at it, the real votes will not come from the governors. The real votes will not come from other. The real vote is the people. Power belongs to the people. So let them do all the shenanigans that they want to do. The people, if they are conscious, but the politicians once told them, here in Ogun State, maybe at the end, you know, and that is exactly what is happening. So it makes analysis even difficult. Sometimes we are just saying our own.
Okay.
I think when we are analyzing individual in politics, we have to also look at their school, how they were tutored. And that is why Ogun State will be somehow different. Distinguished Senator Adeola Olamilekun, aka Yayi, has an intimidating profile. And I am not surprised because he underwent his tutelage probably under the incumbent president. And that was why I said,
oh, he learned the tricks from me.
Don't say trick. I'm not saying trick. When you say trick, then you are probably being derogatory. But I mean, this is somebody that has been at the Lagos State House of Assembly as a lawmaker. Then he has been at the House of Representatives, representing Alimoso. And at the same time, he has been a 2 or 3 term senator. Now coming back to become the governor of the state by God's grace. Now, you can conveniently deduce that he is an experienced politician who should be able to manage crisis wherever his needs one. So, already is in town meeting those people who had governorship ambition, but at the end of the day, all of them were able to, concede to him and he emerged as consensus. He's been meeting them, telling them to bring in their manifestos, then assuring them that he's going to run an all-inclusive government. Just about 2 days ago, he was with a Sarafa group. So, when you talk about that, I think it is convenient to say that Ogun is safe.
Would this supposed success be cut short with the type of division we are having in Ogun East,
God bless
the type
you.
of the division we are having in Ogun Central, because the key players who agree to that in quote consensus are now singing another song that maybe they were not given what they were promised on the basis of why they supported that consensus in quote.
We have said it. We have said it that it will be, if I thought there should be any problem, it will be APC first.